Yo, so I'm gonna let some people get in here and then I'm gonna set up. In the meantime, I got some adhesive on my hands I gotta get off. But in the meanwhile, I'm gonna let people fill up the room and then we'll go over what we're gonna work on today. I'm back, and back, and back. And I couldn't get any adhesive off my hand, so I got this stuff instead. What are y'all in here doing? Hola, what's going on? What's going on, Carolina? What's going on? Peace, peace, peace. I'm gonna clean my hands and then we're gonna start building stuff. So, this adhesive is pretty strong. I don't know why. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's adhesive, right? So I'm gonna just spray a little of this parts cleaner. Wash my hands a little bit. Get this sticky stuff off. Thanks for likes. Thanks for subscribes to anybody who did it. And I'll tell you what we're going to do today. I have a bathroom that I've been remodeling, and it's a vintage space, and we want to keep it that way. And she doesn't have a lot of storage in there, so we're going to build a medicine cabinet recess it into the wall, and we're gonna put it behind this round mirror. So I've got to build something that allows me to make that mirror a door for the medicine cabinet. So we're gonna figure out how to do that, and we're gonna get into some of that build right now. Why do I got a phone call coming? I ain't gonna answer that. I'm talking to y'all. But that's what we're gonna be doing today. We've got this circle mirror. So that's going to present its own challenges. In fact, we can just go ahead and kind of get it out. My hands are still sticky, so I'm just going to keep doing this until they're not. But let's see what we got. So I got this round mirror. Very beautiful, very demure. And where's my tape? Shoot. I need a tape measure so I can measure across the back of this window and build it into a door. So let's go get it. Okay, so we had to do a little bit of investigative work this morning, and that's why my tape measures in my bag. Milwaukee's what I need in this place. And then I'll need this so that I can write stuff down, get my measurements. Because we're going to do a little carpentry work today. We're going to do something like cabinet work, but not quite exactly. But whilst we do, here you are hanging out with me. So let's get to it without much further ado. I guess I should open this up, right? This mirror. Let's just go ahead and get that opened up. All right, let's see what we got. I can do 19 inches. I think I'll be okay. I'm gonna do 19 inches across, and I'm gonna put a board right across there. But let me see what the depth is. So that's the back of our mirror. And it's got a hook here. So that's good. Because what that means is we can mechanically fasten as well as the chemical fasten that I was intending on having. Where I was going to put a board across, fasten it with fiberglass to the back of this, and then I'd have that. But I've also got this little clip right here. We can make use of that. Maybe. They could put a little slot right there, help hold it down. That might be good. So let's see what we got in terms of material that we can actually use. I don't see a seam. Yeah, there's a seam right here. Here's my seam. So we want that seam at the very bottom of things. So I guess that's a good indicator of this. So instead of fastening that, we'll just go across and forget everything I just said. But let's lay this down, allow ourselves to get the depth truly of what's inside of here. And then that way we can determine what material we need to get flush. We got to basically build an arm for this, and 3/4 looks too proud. It doesn't look right. What if the hinge was there though? What if it was over here? The hinge was there. This is the size of my cabinet right here. And then I opened up like that. No. But anywhere in there wouldn't be bad, to be honest with you. Something to think about, something to think about. But that's too thick, we do know that. Now that 1/2 inch ply fits perfectly in there. And I think that's going to essentially be the base of what we want to start working with. So that's about the size we want to be working with. So let's just get that measurement. Let's say 15 by 13. Let's write that down so we'll be sure of it. 15 by 13 on a 1/2 inch ply. And we're going to span across the entire width of this mirror so that we can have some way for us to have an arm on this thing. So I'm going to get that. I'm going to glue this down, put some clamps on it, just let it sit and lock in. So first, let's find some ply that we can do that with. Whistling so you know I'm still here with you. Go on the other side of the shop. I found the board. I found a board. I found a board. It's almost it. It's just a little bit long. See, we got lengthwise. We got 12.5 inches, and that's just fine by me. Where that goes across to, let's say 14. Let's do that. Let's just do that. We're gonna find a square corner on this so that we can square everything from there, and we'll know that we're good. Where are my squares at? Good old cabinet square. Right away, first try this corner square. So the way we indicate that is that little square that you used to do in elementary school in geometry, right there in that corner, and then you pull your measurements from there. And what did we say that length was going to be? 14. So I'm going to go from that corner, make this mark at 14. Little crow's foot, another 14, little crow's foot, because we want to be precise. you don't know what I mean by crow's foot, what I mean is draw sort of a little arrow, right? So it looks kind of like a crow's foot, but we know the dead tip of that is where we want to be. So that's a crow's foot. Now, we want to connect our dots, so to speak. So we want to line that up, make a mark there. And I'm probably going to cut this on the miter saw, because my miter saw, I think, can make this cut. And because it can, it'll give me a second for my skill saw to dry out from me leaving it out on the water yesterday like a big doofus. All right, so we're gonna run over here to this miter saw. Oh man, that was the whole thing for. That was just the bottom of my stand falling down. Forgive my shot. I know it looks crazy back there. Why don't you give me a like and stop being a spazzola for once? Jeez. Gosh, you guys. All right. All that out the way. Like I said, this girl can cut straight and clean. We're going to check our length. Definitely can do that, so that's definitely what we want. So, I'm not going to take any chances of guessing whether or not this is straight. This is my corner of trust. So I'm going to put it against the fence. And then I'm going to roll my blade over this line first to see if I need to adjust it. As it crawls across that line, if it goes back one way or another, crawl back that way. That means I need to turn my attention that way a little bit. And these are micro adjustments because this saw used to be a job site saw for me, so I used to beat on it pretty bad. It used to cut decks and all kinds of stuff. So it's not nearly as precise as it was originally out of the box. So I have to adjust it, make sure I'm right before I put this thing in action. Gotta do it. Just gotta keep trying. Keep adjusting. Put the teeth on back here, walk them over. If they go good, I'm good. I'm gonna call that enough. I got scared at the last minute. Yeah, that didn't feel right. That didn't feel right. Didn't feel right to me, so I didn't cut it at all. Didn't feel right to me. And you see, we can see our line just a little bit. We cut right dead through half of it. And that is what we call perfection. All right, let's turn around. Get our attention back over here where we want it to be. On this situation. Now, if you've been following, you know that we want a chemical bond, and you know that we want that height. I think that is good. That's going to give us a good place to kind of express ourselves. I'm going to go right there. And I'm going to do some stuff that's a little bit unconventional in that I haven't done it before. guys. I'm coming. All right. And all right. So here's what I'm after. I'm gonna use this fiberglass and this resin to fasten this board to this mirror. It's plastic on the back side, so I am gonna scuff it up pretty good just so that I've got some texture to work with back there. But I don't want to do too much because it's glass on the other side. I don't want no smoke with the glass gods. I'm gonna take a little styrofoam, tuck it under there in case things get squirrely. You know things will get squirrely. We are also going to make sure this is super clean before we do get into that. So we've got this Great Stuff foam cleaner. This is basically acetone in a can, but it's like fast, like good stuff. So let's rough up the back of this just a little bit. We don't have to do a lot. But I've got this 80 grit, and that ought to do fine. So I'm just drag it all over. So you see these structure marks that I'm making? That's perfect. That's going to get our liquid someplace to seep into and someplace to kind of mechanically bond. As those fibers turn around and kind of turn into little claws under there, it'll squeak in, hold, and help keep it so that it doesn't act like a flat thing on a flat thing, gets suction and just pop apart. So again, we talked about that, and we talked about now we want to make sure we're insulated today. I mean, not insulated, what's the word? Jeez. Maybe the chemicals are getting to me today. We want to make sure we're ventilated because this is a lot of chemicals, right? Funny that I had a brain fart on that. So I'm going to put a little bit of this acetone down. Clean out what I just scrubbed out so that it's nice and clear for this hardener and this Bondo resin to adhere. Now, I'm going to take a quick second to read this over because I have not done this application on this before. And if you bear with me for just a quick second, I'm going to come up with something. And in the meanwhile, you are also cordially invited to like and subscribe to my channel. But in the meanwhile, hold on, I'm going to let that dry. I'll be right back. Try to get some better light in here. All right, I'm back. Try to get you a little bit better light around these places. So now, I think that helps. Okay. I'm going to read these instructions real quick. Mixing instructions. Estimate the amount of resin needed to complete the repair. The working time of the resin is 8 to 12 minutes at 75 degrees. So only mix small amounts that you can use within that time. Yada, yada, yada. Knox mix hardener directly into the resin can. Yada yada. Mix quarter teaspoon of hardener to 6 tablespoons or 10 drops of hardener to 1 ounce of resin. Scrape, blah, blah, blah. Scrape the sides and complete mixing while stirring gently to 30 to 45 seconds. Follow application specific for cure time. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and glue this down, so to speak. I'm going to just mix up some resin and some hardener right here on the mirror itself. And then I'm going to set this down in there and let it just saturate, sit, and soak. Then I'm going to bond the edges with the fiberglass cloth and work that in the way it should be properly worked in. That's the idea. I really wonder if I should do this upright like that. Probably upright is better. Probably. It'd be better for a medicine cabinet anyways. Okay, this is dead flat. That's dead flat. Let's look at it a little. Yeah, pretty close. I'll put some weight on it when I'm done. So let's get something to pour that resin or spread that resin, whichever it does. Let's see. I don't know if I have chip brushes. But I've got this little brush and I can cut it. I'll cut the tabs off it. I'll make it into a chip brush real quick. Oh. Y'all gonna watch me tear something else up. Never done this before. Let's get that a shot. Let's see how big of a mess this is gonna be. Not bad. It just kind of blew back. It just kind of cleaned them out. That's wild. Okay, that'll work. Either way, it's a chip brush, so that helps me do what I need to do. And we back. So, we gotta pour a little resin, we gotta mix it up, and then we gotta put the hardener in, and then we gotta put it on the back of this. And I swear I just want to dump it on there. I'm gonna tear my skin off my hand before that top will come off. Give me a second, let me get a pair of pliers because I'm weak. Because I'm mad soft, being mad soft right now. Can't even begin to tell you. My plumbing box is outside, so shut up. Can't help it. That's what I'm gonna do instead. Is that even gonna work? In theory, that should be like a doggone, what you call it, right? That was pressure, that was tension. Let's try it. Am I going the wrong way though? It's glued on there. All right, I'm coming back with a pair of pliers. Forget it. Forget about it. None in that box I ran out in the rain for. Here we go. Back to the rain. Back. Doing this for you. Doing this for you. All right. Back. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. So we need to be lefty loosey in this joint. Oh, I can't open it. It's like it's glued. I'm not gonna waste this whole can. I'll tell you that. This is wild business. Look at that, it's like glued. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to solve it with a hammer. Going to solve it with a hammer. Maybe a knife. Now we got a nice easy pour spout. Because sometimes you gotta fix it with a hammer, my friend. Alright. Resin. This weird sawdust kind of combo. Yeah, I'm gonna open it up. Probably don't have that. You gotta have that little extra hole to let it out with. This is alright. Let me go close this door. The question now becomes, can you see this well enough? See what I'm doing. So now what we have, all right. So now we'll mix our hardener. Oh, this one isn't open. Great. That means I got one that is. Ugh. All right. So, couple drops. That's a lot of drops. Now, that's gonna make it dry a little bit faster. That's kind of what we want, though, right? I'm gonna just spread this over this whole space. Where I expect and just keep spreading it because I want that hardener to mix in, right? So a lot of chemical reactions happening. You see that bubbling? While that's doing that, I'm gonna do the exact same thing on this. So I'm gonna scooch him down a little bit. Remove some of this junk off of here. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. I want the best bond that I can get. And I think that's what's gonna give it to me. Or right on the top. That hardener in. Just mix it right there on the border. Same thing. I'm just going back and forth. Now this may not be a proper technique for this. I don't want to twist it up. I'm not a fiberglass guy. I know this will work. But as far as the very, very particulars of fine fiberglassing, this may not be the tutorial for that. But I am covering this all the way to all four edges because I want to bond the whole way. Is that all possible? So again, it's kind of mixing as I'm going, right? And you can see the same chemical reactions that are happening over here, happening over here. I'm gonna let those get a little bit of air to them. And then I'm going to set that brush to the side. Because my next step, I don't want this fiberglass on my fingers. Set that right on top in that space. And I want to sort of keep it even on all four sides. Feels good to me. Now, I'm going to put a little bit of weight on that. And this is a little bit more than a little bit, 8 pounds, I think it can handle. And I'm gonna let that sit. And while that's sitting up, I'm gonna start getting me another one of these cut and set so that I can actually start making the box for the medicine cabinet. So let's move this away. Yeah, I'm gonna open up the door a little bit. Because boy, right now we are getting a whiff of something special. And I don't want y'all to hear me getting loopy in here. So that's drying. And as it dries, I'm going to let some of this air out of here because there's a lot of chemical floating around right now in here. I guess we could go ahead and fiberglass this while we're here, right? Couldn't hurt. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'll try to give you a good view, a decent view. I want my hinges and hardware here, so I think I'm going to put my fiberglass up top and down low. in this particular scenario. In this particular scenario, says science doctor, Mr. Whips. All right. Now I want to put some of this fiberglass in, but I don't want all of it. I need a pair of scissors for this. This gets mad really quickly. Cut this loose a little bit. Maybe I can get a decent enough strip. Freestyle. You know what I'm saying? It's a little different going left to right, huh? That's what she said. Alright. Put another one across the bottom. No, I'm just gonna get better off going across. Yeesh. Not nearly as clean on that cut. I should have went with it. That's awful. It's the back of the cabinet, but you know, it's still hard not to do good work. You know you're capable of it. So we'll go with that. That's clean enough, right? Cut this little extra off. Get into some fiberglass and we'll put a piece there. We'll get all these little extra frays out of the way. Those things get really annoying really fast. So a little extra slice right off of there. That's the benefit of having a sharp knife with fiberglass. If you don't have a sharp knife with fiberglass, it's just going to be a problem. Just letting you know. Now, you can also do this with scissors, but you need a sharp pair of scissors. I'm going to cut both of these just like that. I'm going to mix up some more of this stuff, just like I did before. I'm going to mix it in a separate container so that I can keep this semi-neatly as soon as I find the container. Ah, I got a little hollow in this. I'm going to use that. So, let's see if I can find y'all a better place to look at this from. Problem is, I'm losing desktop space by the moment. Hardener. Back to my brush. And then just mix it right there. I tend to use a little bit more hardener when I know I'm going to be going on something that's small. But like with all fiberglass, I'm going to just do the same principles. I'm going to paint it down, go across, I'm going to saturate where I know my fabric is going to span so that I can completely seat that fabric inside of that area. Now, this wood is soaking this stuff up. Plastic is not. Make sure I don't get any coming around that round. I'll just get it off with my finger like that. Alright, now I'm just going to tuck it. After that, my fingers are not touching that again, because this fiberglass will grab you and hold on forever. So I'm using this, tuck it down in there. It's got to get completely saturated from the bottom. That's important. What's already on there has to be what saturates it. If not, you won't get a good bond under there. And you'll notice I'm not brushing, I'm dabbing, I'm pushing, because the effort that I'm making is not to brush anything down. I'm pushing out air pockets, and I'm pushing this fabric into the material, into the glue, so to speak. So that's what I'm doing right now. And if I get that nice and flat, because it's not going to like corners, I'm going to have to keep working it into a corner until it's there. And you see how much of that's soaked up, right? So it can go pretty fast. Let me see. Let me let a little piece of foam somewhere. It's trying to go rogue. So I'm going to watch that while I'm doing this. Like, this is a process. So that's in. We're going to leave it for now. If we need to touch up, all I'm doing is just pushing that fabric back down. Working those air pockets right out of here, wherever I can send them. But I'm leaving my material saturated. I'll mix some more. Again, pour my little hole there. Get me some hardener in there. Mix it up with my brush. Go straight to the hardener and then let the rest of it mix in with that. Once I feel like I'm mixed up pretty good, same thing, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to saturate this edge. Now, it doesn't look like I'm putting focus on, but on that inside corner right here, that's an important piece of this puzzle. If that's dry, we got a problem. Right? So, we need to make sure we're nicely saturated on that part too. Put this in. We have it in place. Again, we want it to be saturated from the underside. We don't want to start coating the top of this. We want it to be soaking in through the bottom. That way we know we got a good bond to the fabric. That way we know we're saturated. When this stuff hardens, it'll harden all together as one thing through and through with no issues. If we do it right. Now if we don't do it right, who knows? We might just fall off the wall at some point. But that ain't what we're aiming for, ladies and gents. That ain't it. So I'm back over here on top of this one, putting some more stuff down. Doing some more dabbing in. So we got a coat on top. We got a coat underneath. By the time I get this one more batch mixed up, just to get some more around this thing, I think we'll be alright. A bit more. A bit hardener. Back on top. Saturated. Back on top. Saturated. Tuck that corner still. Special attention to that corner. Saturate that bottom. Same thing. Special attention to that corner. Saturate the top. Saturate the bottom. Corners are hard on fiberglass. This is not going to carry any more weight other than the mirror, so I'm not going overboard with it. I don't want to pass on cost of excess to my customer. They trust me to get this done, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to bill accordingly, not, according to excess. So I think once this dries up, this should be good for me. Since I've got a fan going anyway, I'm going to send my fan across and let it not only blow those chemicals out of here, but also dry this stuff at the same time. And then that way, while that's drying, we can start getting our dimensions to build the rest of the medicine cabinet that this mirror is going to see too. But before any of that happens, it's imperative. Absolutely cannot skip this step. Have to get some coffee in you. No doubt about it. It's just what it is. It's just what it is, man. I'm going to let these chemicals run out of here. I'm going to get set up so that I can do the carpentry to build this medicine cabinet the rest of the way while this dries up elsewhere. But in the meantime, thanks for hanging out with me. I'm going to clean up a little bit. While I'm doing that, chill. Just chill. I need to figure out how to plug that top. Sometimes a simple answer is the best one, right? Still need some force for the tape on it. Done and doner. Don't call me till you see me next summer. on her hip. Yikes. I gotta have a place for my plane. I don't know if I've even built a place for my plane. I'll do that some point today too, maybe, right? Little hand plane display shelf. Starting out as a contractor, it's kind of weird to display tools to us. Like, tools are tools and they're not for any aesthetic, hardly ever. So we don't care if you see them usually. But woodworkers do. YouTubers definitely do. And maybe that's the world I'm in now. I'm gonna fold this fiberglass back up. This is the fiberglass mat, so it's not as itchy and cumbersome as the fiberglass that you have to cut, like in the little fiber mat. Oh man, I just dropped it. I can't drink that. Oh. I gotta find a bag this came from. Anybody got questions or y'all good? Y'all good right now? Good. Let's see. We got that all set. We are going to need this. We're not going to need these chisels. Look at that. We're going to have to sharpen these later on today. This one's pretty bad. Got to get it back to new. It's always good to have a sharpening session with y'all. But right now, let's think about the inner dimensions of this thingamabob. We want to go smaller than this, but not much. So that's like a 13 by 12, maybe. So if this were your medicine cabinet and that's all the space you had, and it was upright, would you need anything the full length of this? Anything at all? Or would you maybe need like a little small shelf, like pill height, and then maybe divide these into a couple? I'm not sure. Y'all think about it. How many shelves, how tall do you think a medicine cabinet shelf needs to be? Oh yeah, man, shot back filters. Did you see my what's your name? Survival of Us. Have you seen my video on how to clean these? I don't know, man. Look it. I might even show you. I don't even know if I have my Sawzall here, but I did a video. Look for it. It's a short on exactly how to clean these shop vac videos with this contraption right here, dust free. I might do it if I can find my Sawzall. It's a pretty interesting situation. Yeah, put that in there. And just poke it through the back side of this thing. And it's a little 1/2-inch PVC pipe. And then when you come through it, you put the little nut back on it. You drop them both down in there. Let me pull the whole top off for you. Welcome to how ADHD works, folks. So, put that in there like yay. Alright? Whole thing's in there and contained. Give me 2 seconds. get my old saws off. Snatch that blade out. Put that blade in. And now, I know you can figure out what I'm doing at this point. Just put that thing in there. Let me plug it in. See all that dust coming out of there? Getting cleaned out. That's all you have to do, if you have a Sawzall. But it saves me a ton. I haven't bought a filter this year. Well, in 2024 to now. But yeah, it's a good time. Let's see. Man, what are you talking about? These cat litter boxes are incredible. And they're square, and they actually got more space than the 5-gallon buckets, and they take up less space somehow. It's crazy. But every time, that's the only saving grace for my wife's cats. They make great buckets. Sean, what's going on? I am building, I just fiberglassed this plank to the back side of this mirror for my client because I'm going to build her a medicine cabinet, and I'm rained out today. It's so nasty out. I don't even want to take the truck out and walking in and out of the house through the mud. So I'm building a medicine cabinet this size, this dimension, and I need hardware to be able to fasten to the mirror so that I can open the mirror and have the medicine cabinet. So today, that was the first thing, is to get the mirror situated in a way that I can put fasteners on it and hinges on it, and then I'll build the medicine cabinet as this dries, and you just happen to walk in the beginning of that process. Also, now I gotta go get more coffee because I got wood shavings in it. That's crazy. But that's what we're on today. Having a good time with it. So we got this all cut and set up. I got some more plywood over there, and I got some some 1x4s. Because I think that's the depth that I've gotten that wall, but I'm gonna max it out as best I can. I've got about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of plaster in there, so I'm gonna try to seat it inside the plaster so I can make use of all that depth, and try to get a nice looking thing for them. So, but I'm gonna have to invent whatever this arm is here because I'm not 100% sure about how. I just know that I am gonna do it. So we're letting this fiberglass dry up, and I'm just keeping an eye on these bubbles that they don't sit too far. We just keep kind of tamping them down as we go. Where is my... There's a brush, y'all. We had the brush right here, and then we cleaned up a little bit. See why you don't clean up? It's in the way. And you want to do something else. All right. Here we are. And this is just one of the things that has to happen with fiberglass. You have to keep those corners down. You just have to. And that's just the chemical working its way out. So it's not that you miss these bubbles, it's that they're forming inside of there as this stuff dries. And you just have to be mindful of getting it out of there so that you can get a proper bond. So that's it. But y'all give me a quick second. I'm gonna light some incense and get my juju back good, and then I'm gonna grab some more of this ply from over there on the other side of the shop. I'm gonna grab my 1x on this side of the shop, and I think I'm gonna just cut them at the table saw. But we'll dry out what we're gonna do first. But while this fan is blowing some of this toxic air out of here, it's getting cold. So I'm gonna touch up my coffee and come back with some hot coffee and a little bit more energy, and we'll get back to it. So I'll chill for a second. Don't go away. Or if you do, come back. And if you don't, hit the like button up there. Hit the subscribe or something. Come back. Check me out. I'm doing stuff over here. Did any squirrels come in here while I was gone? Because I need to make sure those squirrels were gone. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now look at. Now I've got this chocolate mint tea. And it smells great. And I've got some agave in there. I'm going to taste it for the first time. That's good. That's good. That's a coffee substitute. That way I don't have to run around here like a squirrel. This is still drying. Smells wonderful. Fiberglass. Still is sticky. We're going to find a place to set this in a minute because we're going to start building. And what did we say our measurement was? I think we were going to take it down to a nice even 12 by. So let's do a nice even 12 by 13. Let's do that. So that's going to basically mean that going across, we're going to go 12 twice. Let's go ahead and get those cut. Sip a little bit of this deliciousness. I'm talking like I got a sauce set up. I do have one on the other side of the room. So, first things first. Slide that bad boy across. Now generally we're not going to trust our factory edges, right? Unless we check our factory edges. And we just had a square 5 seconds ago. Oh, over there. Welcome to the ADHD show. Alright, hit that corner. Oh my God. We got a square corner. It's one less cut. Let me see, 12. Let's go 12 inches. We're good with our mark. Now, most carpenters are completely fine with marking with a knife in their pocket. Whereas woodworkers will carry those scribing tool. But I think we all know that that's the way to go. We got that one mark at 12 inches. Remember, we got 2 of these to make, and then we'll see how long the ones on the side need to be. They may not be that 413, they may be a little less. We gotta think about it. Alright, I'm going to take this over to the table, and I'm going to take you with me. And because I'm a contractor, I've got plenty of miter saws, and I've got plenty of room to put long boards. So I'm going to shift them down. Remember, we calibrated this earlier for our 90. And this is what we're keeping, so we're going to check our blade on that. You see that wobble? Because this board can twist it a little bit. But that's not going to matter so much here. Now, look, I stayed back from my line a little bit so that I could come back and refine that cut. And the woodworkers don't like to use these because they don't trust them. But if you've been using one of these as long as I have, you're going to get you a 90, a proper 90, no problem. So, remember, there's many more ways to skin a cat than just the way you've skinned the last cat. But the other thing that I'm going to do is go, I went ahead of myself. I'm going to go back. I remember I need 2 of these. Let's spin it around. Welcome to the ADHD show. Put these edges together. Nice and clean. I'm going to make me a mark to follow on this one. I made that one based on this one. Cut here. Remember, I'm going to go past it. No biggie. Because of that bow, that's keeping me not square on my up against my fence. This little short one would be even better because it is going to be able to go square because it's shorter. So now I'm going to go ahead and knock that line down. Now, I'm not even going to check that. I'm sure that's square. And now, let's get back over to this side. Where we're going to take our, we always want to sand our corners down. Just keep the splinters away, keep all the nonsense out of the equation. Splinters happen on sharp corners. That's why we want to rough our corners a little bit so that our board doesn't want to split. Oh, sorry, I'm over here. Just going to rough it a little bit, no big deal. We got this stupid sticker on here. We're going to put that on the outside. No problem, no need to mark that. It's obvious what that's going to do. And just cleaning up our corners again, making sure our material doesn't want to split, splinter, or fray, because those rounded edges don't do that. Plus it looks better. Now, let's see if we got identical pieces. I'm going by feel on the bottom, and now I'm going by sight on the top, and we're close enough for government work. So we got two of these at 12. That means this and this one's done. So that means on the outside, we want to go 13, which is going to shrink our inside down to 11. We'll do one on the outside, which is going to make our outside actually 13, and our top side actually 12. I think we'll widen this boy. Yeah, let's go at 13. Is you with me? Alright, let's flip to the other side. We're going to do the same thing at 13 with another pair of boards. What if we did 13 and a half and we were adventurous? We got an edge that we cut so we know it's square. And because I know I'm square, all I've got to do here is hit a dot on that 13. Make sure it's on this side of the blade. And when I come down upon it shall be sold. I need two. Stack them, rack them. Dead even there. Up against the fence. Made my line. There it is. Bring my saw to the right side of it. Now you may have noticed I never even looked on the side where my line was. As this blade is going through, you can kind of see through the spin, so you can see the cut. I did the same thing that I did before. I left that little bitty line there so I can creep up on it, cut it, and be dead accurate. That's an important part of the process, so you don't get a wonky, misshapen thing. Parallelogram is hard to work with. Cuboid is easy. Now, Got that little bit to knock off. But such is the nature of the woodwork. Get these edges cleaned up. This is a pine, but we are careful that we didn't get any knotty pine or anything crazy. We got nice strips, no hooks, no deep turns. As you can see, and as I said before, this isn't the flattest, smoothest board that there ever is, but it's plenty good for what we're gonna do. And I kind of like a natural look, so I tend to get wood that I don't mind seeing the grain in if I were to just put a coat of sealer on it and not bother with a paint or anything like that. I have to talk to my client to see where she wants to go with that, but I'm always going to run this at least a 120 across these edges and corners so that we got no splinters, no frays, nothing to clean up later. If these little fray marks get in your glue line, it is a pain to get out because it's like a fiber. It bonds better. So we got two of these. Outside because of that stupid sticker. We almost neglected our tea. Cheers to you. I don't want to put that there because that fan is blowing cold air on it. This fiberglass really does have some scent to it. It's important to have good ventilation while this is going on. I'm going to touch it up a little. Now this is starting to harden, and that's good. It's hardening my brush. This I'm just trying to get worked out. That means we're on the way to having what we want. I think from this point forward, we can just leave the fiberglass and let it do what it's doing. And then we'll just concentrate on getting this built. Because once we get this built, I think if we go tall, let's say we did that, not that, but all the way to the edge. Let's see what our full length is that way. Because it's 14 and a half. So if we were trying to hide that 14 and a half, it'd be about right there. It'd be right at that edge and could not go further. But if I did that from 12, that may be able to happen. Or I'm gonna have to turn this to do it, we go with these to the outside, these to the inside. And have that scenario. Which also isn't too bad. Get my vice out of the way. This may be the way to go. Just because of the height. That gives me 13 and a half to 13. And that might be better. So, if that's the way we're going, we may as well get our glue together. We may as well get us some pin nails to send down in there. Let me set that up. While I set that up, like my thing, man. Be back. getting my nailer together. That's a compressor. Those ain't gonna be deep enough. Now what I'm looking for is nails, but I got some, just gotta find them. Shop is a mess. Be right back. All right, I'm back. What I miss? Okay. We were in here looking for the proper fasteners, and I do not see long enough staples in here for what I want right now. So we may have to default to the finish nail, which is plenty good. We just got to be careful that these long ones don't go through. Pop that up, and we got to find the tool itself. Where'd we put it? Here it is. Bam! In your face, God. Alright. That. A little bit of wood glue. I think we can tie it. fumes well enough now to live again. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this thing cleared out before we even get to messing around. Top off with the glue available. And all I generally do for this is just carry a pair of pliers and I pinch it and then it crumbles up, comes out, no problem. That's how you can pick up all these great tips. Tuning in to wet better. And did y'all used to rub glue on your hands when you were kids and then peel it off like skin? I used to do that. That was like my favorite pastime. I need to get this out of here. Unfortunately, I got a teeny tiny little knife that can do that. Let's get this in here. Get it free. Oh, it's almost out of there. But these are one of those things that you have to do. Else it's drive you crazy, right? Gotta find something small enough to get in there and get that out. Look at that. That little glue booger. Let's try this. Screw. It's trying to come out. Yay! Satisfaction. Put that back onto our hot bond. Now, let's get our compressed air. Get out of pistola. Alright. So now what did we decide? That this was going to be bottoms versus the shorties for the tops. Okay. So that means over here. Glue here on the thin grain. And then that means that these two will come together like so. Now, there are many different methods of squaring these up. But if we know which square already, that good. That good. You can be cool over there. So we do the same thing here. Do the inside. Do this inside. That's going to be to the outside because of that stupid thing, right? but we have to be positioned where we can fasten. So let's just go like that. It's tough sometimes without a clamp. When you get it right, it's like a sniper, right? As soon as it goes right spot, you just gotta wait on the shot, man. There you go. That did it. Straighten the corner up. The top one, same thing. Little easy peasy Georgia Wheezy. That corner, that edge, good. Get your finger out of the way. It's a long splinter to have. That'll ruin your whole day. Maybe a week. If you have something to do that week. Alright. So essentially I built a box. And now inside of this here box, we gotta figure out, that's our height. But we're gonna let our glue dry. We're gonna let this dry square, so we gotta make it square. A couple of ways to do that. I'm gonna start with these. These are very beneficial. We'll clamp the wood in the corner, and it'll maintain that corner at a nice, consistent 45. You just tuck it. You turn these little knobs. Let me get you closer. Let me get you more involved. Tighten it down, hold, tighten this one down, close up on that side, hold, and if I adjust them both, got a tight 45, it's going to stay 90 degrees, that's what I should have said, 90, not 45. And then I'm going to do it on the opposite corner here. Same thing. Sit it on top. Let me see if you can see this clamp. Clamp. Now there's one way to clamp these knives. There is another way. But since I got these clamps, I might as well show you how to use them, right? First, always throw some of the parts on the floor. Otherwise, without these ninja tactics, how could you be a proper ninja trainer warrior? So this goes in here, that goes in there. And in this piece, I turn all the way down till it locks onto the material on this side. Once I'm locked in, we're good. Now, gotta lock in this corner. See that gap? That wasn't good. All right, back to the corner. We have to do these together because they weirdly want to come apart with pressure. I don't understand that, but maybe it's because I got it from China. Who knows? But what I do know, now I have a square corner for sure. See the squeeze out here and here too? Now, if we did it proper, this corner will be square too. If we didn't, let's see. Yeah, I like these. These are good clamps. You do have to be careful with them though, and make sure they're seated properly because they can be a pain. I'm gonna try this one from the outside. Do it that way. See if that makes any difference at all. Let's go over this way. Like that. That's kind of the thing for me, that they don't hold themselves very well, or I got a cheap one, I don't know. Scooch it over to that corner. Do it like that. And look at that, we're already square, but this is good confirmation. I mean, it's not like we can have 3 square corners and 1 not. But for demonstration purposes, and heck, I bought all this stuff. I gotta use it sometimes, right? Tighten them all down. I'm gonna give that a little bit of time to dry. But while I do, I am gonna measure the inside perimeter of this because I'm gonna put in a thicker, probably a 1/2 inch ply, not for the back of this thing, because I may want to fasten to it. I'm not sure, but I only want to use this depth of this material because I'm not sure if I've got room behind my wall to go any further. I do know I have this depth, so if I do anything, I'll take away from this, but I won't add to it in terms of what I got to put in the wall. So let's flip them over and get us an exact measurement of this interior diameter, perimeter, interior. 11.5. Got 12 on the dot. I don't know if it could be better than that, better. So those are our 2 measurements. We'll put that down and we'll cut our board nice and square, fit it inside of there, do fasteners all the way around, maybe some wood glue, who knows, but we're gonna get that good. But right now we got some wood glue coming through. Easier to deal with that now than later. Or is it? Maybe I'll leave it. I'll come back and hit it with the chisel once it's hard. It'll be better. Easy peasy. So we got 11 and a half by 12. I'm gonna let that sit for a second. I'm gonna move us back a little bit. So far, we got a square situation. We got our frame tight. We got our chocolate mint tea tight. And we got the base of our medicine cabinet made. Now everything else that we got to do here is going to be much easier. Let's take a quick break from the tea. Maybe light some incense, put some good spirits in the air. Yeah, survival. Yeah, that's gonna go into the wall. What do you say you got? Oh man, but I'll tell you, procrastination is a thing, but it also allows you the time to get a little confidence. Sometimes it allows you the time to get in a little bit of practice or just more research. Because before I do anything, I've done a lot of research. Now this is framing. This is pretty simple framing, and it is interior trim carpentry or cabinet carpentry, which I've been doing for quite some time now. So it's not that intimidating for me, but there's so much information out there on YouTube, man. You can learn all kinds of new cool stuff. I encourage y'all to do that. I'm gonna grab some more ply and figure out what I need to do here, because I'm gonna have to build some situations. Yeah, I'll have to build some shelving circumstances for that, some optional shelving circumstances, because I want to be able to move those things up and down. I want to be able to move the shelves up and down, because I'm not. Medicine cabinets are oddly specific to people, you know. The shampoo bottles may be big, small, shaving kit, who knows. But if it's the only place you got to store stuff like that, because she's getting a wall mounted sink, so there's no storage below it or over it or on it. This is it for hidden storage for the entire bathroom. So I want to make it as flexible as possible. Meanwhile, let's see what we want to do in terms of the shelving. I could put a 1/4 inch back there, and then I got food. I mean, a 1/4 inch shouldn't make a lot of difference, right? But taking away a 1/2 inch might. Adding a 1/4 might not. I'm going to take the chance with the 1/4 inch. I'm going to take the chance with the 1/4 inch, and I'm going to go across the back of that. Stand, hold tight. I'll be right back. Find some 1/4 inch material that is readily available. And I believe I have found what I need. Let's see right, y'all. That's not wide enough. That is so. There's a relatively ugly side, a relatively pretty side. I am saying relative. So I'm gonna get a pencil. I'm gonna score this or mark it. Because we couldn't measure, but why wouldn't we if we've got access to the actual thing? So this is the side we're going to want. We start with a square corner, and that's it. That's our huckleberry. So I'm going to grab me a fairly bright pencil, because this is the line we're going to cut off, I'm sure. And I'm marking underneath, making sure that I got one square corner, so I'm only making 2 cuts instead of 3 or 4. Oh, you can't see it, but yeah, there's a line. We're gonna run that over to our table saw, miter saw. And don't worry, I don't leave you an idea for you. And give ourselves some light over there. That old station. So we're back at the miter table. And let's try that cut first. One. That's our back side of our medicine cabinet. Let's go back to that side over there. We're going to check it, make sure it fits our box in a way that we want, and it does wonderfully. But that's the side we want to the inside, because that's ugly. That's ugly. So we're going to fasten it down like that, but before we do, we got to make this pretty. It's going to be too once we've already got it. So I'm going to move this off for 1 second. Move it out of the way. We'll go ahead and get our mirror out of the way too, and let it set up over here for a little while. We'll aim our fan over on it still. And we're going to reoccupy this bench so that we can get this cleaned up. Now, this 120 grit, if I've got a sander in here, would be the way. If I don't, then I may have to get a sanding sponge for it. This is what I mean when I say sanding sponge. And this will just wrap right on there, no problem. And I'm just knocking some of this junk off of here, because this has been kicked around a little bit more than it probably should to be something that we're going to work with. But that's the great thing about wood, is that you can revive it. And it can be pretty again. again, we are knocking off quite a bit, but we're going to sand with the wood grain. Right? And now, that is nice, that is clean. Now, before we slap those together like so, we just want to make sure that we do look nice and clean inside of there. And I like it. I like it for sure. And now we can go ahead and fasten that back there. What we do not need in this case are these long fasteners, right? What we need in this case is our other tool. Excuse me. We need our stapler. Now, I've been moving stuff around here all week, so I've got to look for where the stapler is because nothing is in its normal place. Give me 2 seconds. I'll get rid of this. Sometimes you got to whistle for it. Stapler. Where you at, bro? It didn't come. Alright. So give me a second. We'll get glue together. That's what we're going to need. We may need some weight if we don't find a stapler, or we'll need some clamps if we don't find it. Because we're not going to trust that thin nail. I don't like it for that. I want a strong hold, and I want a good bind at the same time. And I promise you, I just had that thing this morning. It's one of only 3 orange tools I even own. And I don't know how in the world it's disappeared from the site. Give me a second, I'll be right back with it. Man, this is our huckleberry right here. Yeah. This is a stapler. Now, the thing about a stapler is it's got more holding power because it's a staple. It's got, you know, that whole head wrapped around the wood and then going into it in 2 places. So, fantastic to have them, and the option to use the staple where you can. We'll load them up like we showed you on our video before. Tuck them down, close it up. Good to go. Now, we flip our box. And we know it's going down like that. I am going to intentionally stay to the outside because I don't mind squeeze out there. I can control it and I can retrieve it. It's also going to be hidden in the wall. I do not want to squeeze out on the inside because it's hard to work out from the inside. It's hard to work in that little corner that way. So, I'm going to put plenty of glue on this outside edge. And then I'm going to put this down upon it. And then I'm going to staple one corner to the adjacent corner. Then here. And here. And then I'm going to just pop a few of these bad boys in there just to keep it tight in that corner inside. Like as far as holding strength and all of that, what I'm doing right now is not for that. It's more or less just to keep from having to clamp it up. Get all my good squeeze out on the outside and leave it nice and clean on the inside. Because you'll see, I got all this squeeze out here, but that's going to be inside of the wall. I don't care. Same for here, but it's going to be inside of the wall. I do not care. I'm going to go around this whole box that way, because I don't want light through. It looks like my inside piece caught better, because it didn't drop loose at all. So tighten back down to that, right? So now here what we are is got our box built for the medicine cabinet. Let's see what our height, our long way is going to be our height. That's 12 and that's 11 and a half. So I'm going to go with the wood grain as our height situation. Now we just have to build this couple of shelves for in there. And I think I want to build those shelves and put blocks in, so that we can just set the blocks and set the shelves on top of the blocks, and that way they can move around. So let me get two at this length, which is the 11 and a half. Let me get two of those, and then maybe 4 inches, a couple blocks. So 11 and a half, measure twice. Let's go over to our saw. Again, do we trust our saw? We do now, because we calibrated it this morning. So now we get just one of those teeth running next to that dot. Go ahead and knock it off of there. Say just the tip of that dot. I cut right through it. I don't know if you can see it or not. But that's where we are, so we're going to line those two up like before. And now we got a perfect registration mark over here. Now we got two shelves for our medicine cabinet. What we don't have is a way to hold them up. So we're going to do that. Now, what I should have been doing is my stop block right there, and I could be doing a peak cut. But I didn't. I just didn't. So we're going to make a little use of this. And we're going to hit that 4-inch mark right there. One. checking with each other. Perfect. So, 2 more. 4 inch. 4 inch. Now here's what's going to be good about that. We can stack these or we cannot stack them. But either way, you've got the option to move them inside of the cabinet. And that way, we'll have some choices about all of this stuff. I'm going to do the same thing I just did with the cabinet before. I'm going to take my 120 grit and I'm going to knock down all of these edges. I don't want any of these to split. I don't want any of these to fray. I don't want any of them to look like battered wood. I want it all nice and clean. This is pine, but it can be good looking pine at least. If we round the corners, they won't want to split and splinter on us. Remember, be down to hit the corners. I'm going to do all 4 of them. I know this is boring, but look, we don't want our glue line to have that in it. We want good work, pretty work, and I still might hit all of these again if I want them to even be prettier and pull these 120 lines out. You know what I'm saying? But this is fast work, and it gets done. Now, there's a lot of ways to do shelving. I've never liked drilling holes in the side of cabinets in order to put those little clips in and adjust shelves. Because how many times have you ever even moved those things around? Like you find a good place for them and then they're there forever, and then you've got to look at them other 200 holes all over the place. How am I going to tackle the swing hinge? I don't know for sure. I'm going to mess around with a couple of ideas once that's dry over there. And that's really why I put the wood on the back side of the mirror, is so that I can fasten hinges. I want it to be like the, what do you call them? The recess hinges for cabinet doors often will fasten to the inside here, and then they would fasten to the door here, and they leave a little gap, and then they swing back like that. Ideally, that's what I'd be doing. I'm not sure if that's going to work or not. If it doesn't, then what I'm hoping to do is build maybe an arm with a hinge on it that allows the mirror to do something like that and close back, but across the whole way, you know what I mean? And then hinge back, and then just come back together with a couple of magnets on each side. But I've really got to go check out the hardware store, the local Home Depot, and really see what's available, really. So that's 2 blocks that match up height-wise. There's 2 more that match up height-wise. Got glue on it. Oh, I hate when that happens. So, clean up our 2 shelves. Maybe I should try lighter grit. Let me try this 180. Clean up the corners. But I may do 2 piano hinges and just link them across, you know? Just it closes, opens up. It may just be that. I may just project out a little bit and do a standard hinge. But I don't want to push that mirror too far away from the wall. I want it to be all one unit when I get it there. Cut the hole, fasten it in, and just install it all in one moment, you know. So, it's too short. Oh, it's too long. Too long. That's the kind of thing we can take down with our hand plane. I wish I had a shooting board. I don't have a shooting board yet. But if I did, those of you who don't know what a shooting board is, it's a thing where you can sit the wood and you can just slide your plane across and just chip off bits at a time, like perfect shavings. But I don't have a shooting board. I do have a thing. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to go over to the arcade saw and just hit it again and just knock off just a tiny little fraction. Because I'm probably about a 32nd of an inch off with both of these. So I'm gonna barely get it, but I'm gonna get something off of it. I'm gonna put them together. Just trim off what we would call a smidge. Like, I don't think you understand what I mean when I say smidge. Like that much. Like. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Like that much is all we're cutting off. Alright, here we go. Still in the same place I'm cut. And that little bit, that's not even enough to make anything other than sawdust. But I'll promise you, it's gonna feel like 4 inches of material. Just slides in there, that's perfect. I'll take it back. Oops. Yeah, it just goes in there. It just did. Oh. I could not, would not ask for or need a better fit than that. How did I do that? My bad. So, back to the 180. Trim off what we just trimmed off. Clean up that little edge. So we're still looking like sophisticated ladies in here. Sophisticated ladies. Oh, believe in me, I give you what you need. Oh wait, that was unselfish love. I just switched lanes on this. Alright, that one worked. Let's clean this one up prematurely. I didn't even check it yet. But I believe in myself. Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. So, nice and square. Nice and snug. We are going to need a little bit of trim on this thing Because we're going to slide it into the wall and then trim it out. And then the frame is what's going to carry the hinges. But I think I just want to cover it completely, fasten it into the wall that way, and somehow have space for that arm to come out and do what it's supposed to do. You know what I mean? So this is dried up for quite a while. We got our fasteners on the back side. I think we can trust this to stay in place now that we know we fastened it along the back side. I don't think we need these to stay square. And our glue and our fasteners are in there, so I think we're okay to go ahead and remove this, start building the rest of this thing. Take these and put them back. 2 whips. They came on the rack of hardware, clamps, and such. And these are great. They are not fast, easy, quick tools to use, but they are effective. So I give them a 7 out of 10. I give them a 7 out of 10. I'll give those other ones an 8 though. Those other ones seem to be a little bit better to me, and they seem to hold a little bit more aggressive. But I'm glad I have all of them, and all of them work. So there's that. I think it's these little spinny things that have to go all the way up this thread or down this thread, depending on the thickness of your board. And that feels like extra work for some reason. I don't know. But I'm a little bit spoiled. I get it. So, here's the inside of our medicine cabinet. Here's our theory. Boom, we slap that in. Boom, we slap that in. There's your shelf. You want another one? Fine. Slap that in, slap that in. Boom. There's your other shelf. And now you've got 3 shelves, or get rid of a little real estate down there though. And you have a taller shelf, or you can get rid of that altogether. Get rid of those 2 altogether. Anyway, that's the idea. And that way, you got some functional stuff going on. And it all looks good. It all looks the same. I think I will put a finish on it, but I don't think I'll put a gloss finish on it. And I don't think I'm interested in putting any stain on it at all, or any paint on it at all. But ideally, that's how that's going to go. Kind of like a little Jenga block in there. And that'll be the medicine cabinet situation, ultimately. Plenty of ways to do this, but this will let me just slide that whole situation right into that wall. This will also allow me to hold on. It'll also allow me to fasten my mirror on there. speaking of, let's see how our mirror is doing. That's our mirror, and that's you. Why are you so stupid? Why are you looking at yourself? Alright, I glued this on the back. Fiberglass resin and fiberglass. So now that's permanently attached so that I can put my hinge on here. See where I'm going with this? See where I'm going with this? That's the goal. And so I'm going to pick up a couple different kinds of hinges and maybe circle back and figure out which one is going to work best. But I think it'll work out just fine. I think this worked out good and cute. Gotta clean up this edges a little bit, make them nice and smooth. I'll do that with some sanding. Maybe even put my planer on it, who knows? And then we'll have something pretty behind here, something functional behind here. And we'll let this continue to dry. It's almost there. It's to the touch it's dry, but we want to let it cure all the way up because we're going to put pressure and tension on it once we put that hinge on it, and we want it to hold the whole time. So I'm going to move it back over. And we're going to think about what kind of trim do I want on here, and how heavy, how thick do I need it to be, and should that trim be able to hold the hinges or not. Hey, I appreciate it, Survival. I hope it will turn out good. It's a little bit of labor of love, but it's a fairly simple build. I'm pretty happy with it so far. Of course, I'll clean it up, but I'm going to let this glue get a little bit of time to dry before I put sandpaper and start really working on it. But I think I'm going to make 2 frames. I think I need a backup frame, just in case I need more room for the hinge. I don't want to mess up and not have it. But I'm going to go do some hinge investigation real quick and maybe grab some lunch. That might be a good idea for y'all too. But this chocolate mint tea has been a lifesaver today. Thank you to anybody who hit that like button up there, or anybody who subscribed or whatever. That's been pretty cool. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me for this build. I am going to come back and put the hinges on and figure that out. And I'll do that here. But it's going to take me a minute to run to Home Depot, come get all the stuff that I need, you know what I mean, and come back. So thanks a bunch to everybody who did tune in. Y'all are awesome. And y'all show up for me. And I appreciate that. When I monetize, I'm going to do some giveaways and stuff because, I mean, what else are you going to do with that money? Because I make a pretty decent living as a contractor, so I don't really rely on the YouTube. Well, I don't rely on it at all because there is none. I don't make any YouTube money. But I do really enjoy doing these videos for y'all. But I'm going to take off. I appreciate your survival. Y'all be good. Remember, if Wes can do it, you can do it. We'll be back.